television in New York.
Parade route for the first time, but you can see here the DOT and the police department down here fighting a losing battle. Some of these guys literally standing knee deep in paper and ticker tape. We'll keep an eye on things. We'll let you know when this parade moves out. Roz?
All right, just about time to kick off. Do not change that dial. The Bombers have taken over Battery Park City. They're ready for the ride up Broadway.
We have reporters, of course, scattered throughout the parade route. Lara Spencer, one of them, she's toward the beginning of the parade route. Lara?
Rob, can we just talk about the stud factor here? I know you're not concerned about it, but I know Roz is. I actually think there are more women than men at this parade clawing at each other to try to get a look at these most adorable Yankees. Earlier we went out, we tried to find out who the favorite Yankee was. We heard Bernie Williams, Shane Spencer, Andy Pettit, but you know, in my heart, there's just no one sweeter than Mr. Derek Jeter, and they are down the road. I can almost see them. I think I might be screaming as loud as the women here when they come by. We are that close. The Yankees will come up here, I'm hoping, within about 25 minutes. They're still back a ways. I think John Del Giorno told you they're in buses. Let's check out what's going on a little bit further up Broadway, the Canyon of Heroes. You can see the toilet paper flying, Michelle Charlesworth being bombarded. How you doing, Michelle?
No donuts up here as Sandra got knocked in the head, but we're covered with ticker tape down here. We got the brooms. They're going to be needing those later. Everybody's got their brooms out. There's one guy over here who, is he coming? His face is all painted. Oh, look. Come here, love. This guy got out here at 9 o'clock last night, and he's coming, I swear. Look at him. Turn around. Are you the #1 Yankee fan?
Yes.
Is this exactly what the Yankees deserve? All of us lining up here to cheer them on?
That's right. They deserve it all the way.
Yeah. I can't believe you got out here at 9 last night.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
You got a good spot. You better get back out there and get it. I think I'm going to Joe Torres a couple of blocks that way. Joe? No.
Should I keep talking, Michelle? I guess I should. Let me show you something here. Call it Creative Spectating 101 New York style. Over my left shoulder here, these people, they've taken the police barriers and made a crisscross out of them, and they're standing on top of them to get a good vantage point. And then across the street, Frank, if we can show over there, well, they're off now. Some people were on the Bell Atlantic payphones to see what they can do there. And then naturally, as you go up and down the Canyon of Heroes, you've got the people who are still in their offices looking out the windows. They, of course, may have the best vantage point from a view point of view. Of course, they won't hear all the excitement, or perhaps maybe they will. That's why we're wearing these headphones, so that we can hear you guys. Let's go back to Roz and Rob. We'll keep you posted. We're, again, a little further up on the parade route. As things come our way, we'll let you know.
You're on top of one of our trucks, right, Joe?
Absolutely. It's a safe vantage point, by the way.
Stay there. Stay there for your own safety. Thank you to all. Darryl Strawberry, of course. You know, Lara was talking about the stud factor and everything, but Darryl Strawberry, heart and soul, an incredible inspiration to this team.
Scotty mentioned at the top, he's there somewhere, perhaps. And he couldn't play during the postseason because of his battle with colon cancer. But ask the Yanks, and they will tell you his spirit was with them every step of the way.
Russ, there's one man to thank for Darryl Strawberry that the Yankees can thank. It's George Steinbrenner, the boss. When George Steinbrenner opted to give Darryl Strawberry yet one more chance in baseball after so many successes and then so many failures, most Yankee fans thought the boss was off. Way off. But Steinbrenner believed in Darryl. Darryl was clean and sober. His family life was being solidified. He was working out his tax problems. As it turns out, Strawberry has been not only an example for the rest of the Yanks, but an inspiration as well. Spencer Tillman joins us live with more on Darryl and his latest battle. Spencer?
You bet, Scotty. Having played for world championship teams, I can tell you that there typically is a cause connected to great accomplishment. The '98 Yankees are no exception. And although this team was put together long before Darryl's illness came to the fore, Darryl's illness somehow galvanized this team, Scotty, in a way that no one singular goal could ever accomplish.
Even with the full count, a batter knows he'll live to swing another day. But Darryl Strawberry was not in the batter's box. He was in left field when it came to dealing with his cancer.
Once I was diagnosed with cancer, I think I kind of was shocked to know that's exactly what it was at that point. But at the same time, I was kind of relieved because I knew from that point there, you know, I was going to have to take care of it.
Losing weight at an unusual rate tipped Straw that something was terribly wrong. That he waited nearly 2 months to seek help may at first seem foolish, but team sports has a funny effect that way.
The team obviously was important to you. Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, people don't understand when you're a professional group of guys like we are, and you have something special. You never know if you get the chance to be on a team like that.
Indeed, the Yankees have turned in the rarest of performances in a most unusual year in baseball. That is mixed with the touch of tragedy, in a way, sets the stage for triumph.
And just like that, the Yankees take a 5-3 eighth-inning lead.
Meantime, Strawberry is well on his way to recovery. Not asking why me, but why not me? He knows his athletic skill does not exempt him from trial. Darryl is not completely out of the woods yet, but doctors believe they have successfully removed all signs of cancer. Chemotherapy follows. And with any luck, number 39 could be back in a Yankee uniform next season. In the meantime, he continues to battle.
You know, this is a great challenge for me. I mean, it's a bigger challenge than hitting the home run, a bigger challenge than playing in the World Series. But, you know, I enjoy facing those type of challenges in my life, and I truly enjoy the fact that I'm able to face this one because, you know, most people would say, well, how can you enjoy it? Because you have to, because the fact is, you know, if you don't, you know, you're going to lay down and go into some type of depression, and you're not going to feel good about yourself, and you're not going to be able to defeat this type of disease.
He truly is something special, and if there is a connection between the emotional state and recovery, Darryl Strawberry should be just fine. And Tommy here wants to have a message for Darryl and all of the rest of the Yankees. Hey, Tommy.
Go Yankees!
All right, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love here. Scotty, back to you.
All right, Spencer, thank you. Just one footnote about Darryl Strawberry. Joe Torre told me back in '96, in the World Series in 1996, it was between Darryl Strawberry or Cecil Fielder who was going to be playing. Darryl was hitting the ball pretty well. Cecil was not. And Joe Torre says that Darryl came to him and said, Skip, let Cecil play. I can handle it. I can handle sitting. That's what Darryl Strawberry has transformed himself to, and transcended himself from being an arrogant young man with the Yankees or the Mets and being a big hitter, and now what he's become with the New York Yankees.
Class act.
Class act.
How amazing that he's looking at this as a challenge and not anything else.
Just another battle, just another hurdle to jump.
Oh, guys, look at that live picture. We are not very far away from the starting off point. Look at the confetti, the ticker tape, the flags, the people, the din of the crowd. My.
It's already starting. We're expecting 1 million, maybe more, down there at the Canyon of Heroes for this Yankee parade. We're going to take a quick break. They're ready to step off. You can see the horses there. We'll be right back for the beginning in just a moment.
All right, and as you can hear, the parade getting set to get underway in New York City, and we here on ESPN News will be bringing you live coverage throughout the day, courtesy of our sister station, WABC Television in New York. The Yankees having won their 24th World Series championship, sweeping the San Diego Padres in 4 consecutive games after dispatching of the Indians in the ALCS in 6, sweeping the Rangers in 3 straight games in the American League Divisional Series. We'll take a short time out here. We'll come back with more coverage on ESPN News. We're back on ESPN News with our continuing coverage of the New York Yankees World Championship Celebration Parade live from Manhattan and New York City. We take you to the coverage of our sister station, WABC TV.
Right where the Yankee players are just now coming in, they're getting onto the floats. We see David Cohn. We see a lot of other people. The mayor is right around here shaking hands with the ball players and each of the respective floats. I think one of the neatest things from 2 years ago is noting that the young ball players that are just now coming out and getting on the float, they are really wide-eyed. They have never really seen anything like this. And I'm talking about the young kids, you know, Shane Spencer and all, even David Wells for that matter. This is a really neat opportunity for them, and they actually are looking like they're really enjoying this as they're getting on the floats here. So we are at the start of the parade. I'm in a horse-drawn carriage with Freddie the Fan, and so we'll be making our way, making that big turn coming around. So as we get started with the parade here, it's just about to get kicked off as now all the players are coming to what are looking to be 3, maybe 4 floats that will be carrying the Yankee players through this parade. Back to you there in studio.
What a great thrill. Thank you, Bill Evans, in the parade today. We'll pick him out of there at all that commotion sooner or later and get a good shot of him. Let's go high above to Newscopter 7. I believe this may be one of our pictures. John Del Giorno is right there watching for the very beginning of this parade, John.
Well, that's right, Rob. The players have gotten off the buses, and these are a look at the floats that are sitting in Battery Park right now, ready to roll up Broadway. They are, as Bill said, taking their positions on the float. Everyone is ready to move out here and move north on Broadway. We're still waiting for the police department to make the initial move out. You can see as we come across here, Battery Park, and look north up Broadway, that there are still a lot of people down here. The marching band is here right at the top of Battery Park. They have not moved yet. It seems to be a concerted effort now by the police department and by DOT to clear this route of ticker tape that has already fallen. You can see the trees here in Battery Park completely draped with toilet paper already, and that continues for 10 blocks north all the way up to City Hall. As we said before, snow plows are trying to clear out this route. We've seen workers with leaf blowers down there trying to get it out of the way. They're just trying to clear a route right now. That's the reason why this parade is just running a few minutes late. We're live over Battery Park. John Del Giorno, Newscopter 7.
Over exuberance, huh, John? Thank you.
Well, a little bit, but if it keeps falling like this, we're going to see a lot of ticker tape by the end of the parade.
Certainly will. Thank you, John Del Giorno aboard the helicopter. What's the Tom Petty song? The waiting is the hardest part?
Well, I'm into this, so it has like started. I am there. As we watch, I want you to help me find the horse. The Post had a thing on parade facts today, and one of the most interesting ones, they tell you how many snow blowers will be there and how many brooms will be, but they say somewhere in that mass is a horse wearing a Yankee jersey. Now, I'm checking out all the horses. If you see the one in the Yankee jersey, please let me know. It's courtesy of Modell's.
We're taking some other shots here. We might be able to pick it out.
That's not the one.
That's not the one. Anyway, we'll look for that and much more. We have so many more stories to tell you about this New York Yankee team and the parade as our special coverage continues right here on ABC 7. Stay with us.
All right, and once again, you are watching live coverage courtesy of our sister station, WABC TV. This is ESPN News. I'm Mike Greenberg in the ESPN Newsroom. You're looking at a live shot of Manhattan, New York City, where the New York Yankees World Championship Parade is about to begin. The Yankees having won their 24th World Series championship the other night in San Diego. We'll take a short timeout, come back with our continuing coverage right here on ESPN News. Welcome back to ESPN News live coverage of the New York Yankees World Championship Celebration Parade from Manhattan, New York. We are taking the coverage courtesy of our sister station, WABC TV in New York. The parade just getting set to get underway, and once again, we take you to WABC TV coverage.
It's New York City. It's a Big Apple celebration that you can only find in a big, faboo city like this.
Exactly. You know, Roz, I heard this morning about 7, 8 o'clock, the ticker tape started falling. People were throwing stuff out of the windows. And John Del Giorno tells us from Newscopter 7 that that's one of the reasons this parade is a little slow in taking off. They actually have to clear the path now to run the parade. Let's go to Michelle Charlesworth. She is along the parade route, right in the middle of it all. Michelle?
I'm out here chatting with everybody, all the biggest Yankee fans. These guys came here early this morning. It's their first ticker tape. What was your reaction when they won?
It was a great feeling. It was very good. Very good.
Did you have to think twice about coming here today?
No.
No way.
No way.
When did you decide?
The same day they clinched.
Can I get a crazy sweep, sweep?
Sweep, sweep!
We got more fans over here. These are my favorite little guys. They're from Jersey City. We got a Jeter fan. Let's see the cheek. And we got a Strawberry fan. Let's see the cheek. Where are you guys supposed to be right now?
School.
Is this fun, though?
Yeah.
Are you glad you're here?
Yes.
Whose idea was it to come?
His.
Yeah, he made you get up real early this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have to think twice about this? When did you decide to come?
No, we decided last week. We knew the Yankees would take it. Sweep, sweep.
You knew it?
Yeah, we knew it all the way since last week.
I love it. Thanks, you guys. Have fun today.
Go Yankees! Number one!
We'll toss it back to you guys.
Michelle Charlesworth, thanks. You know, they could use those brooms out on the street, we're told, down at the very beginning of the parade route to kind of clear the route.
I got to hold this up. The Times this morning in a special section. By the way, I happen to love this particular picture of the Yankees. They ought to sell this because I would buy one. But more importantly, it says, a team for all time. Some people are reluctant to say they're the greatest ever. I'm not, but then I don't know that much about the game. I just get into it when they win like this. Scotty, are you reluctant to say they are the greatest ever?
I don't think anybody who wants to give a good indication of who was the best, you can't really do it. You can't compare one team to another team because they happened at different times, they had different characters, there were different situations. It was, you see the greatest teams of all time. Just an example, the Cubs in 1906, they won 118 games and they lost the World Series. All right, so they didn't win it all. The Yankees at 27 are one of the great all-time teams. Murderers Row, 114 wins. They had the second best percentage, and the Yankees are right up there. I know I talked to Derek Jeter after the World Series was wrapped up, and I said, Derek, can you consider this one of the best teams of all time? And he said, well, I'm not going to say that we are the best team of all time, but I'll tell you this, we're the only team that won 125 games. I mean, they were 125 and 50. He says, you can leave that up to everybody else. And David Cohn says, we'll leave it up to the pundits. That was his special phrase for all of us who just are going to compare them to the other teams, the 70 Reds.
Sure.
Oakland A's won 3 straight in the 70s as well. All the great teams, but the Yankees have a great argument for being the best team of all time for 1998, and a dynasty still building.
It's a wealthy team, too. I mean, some of these guys on the Yankees make as much money as some other teams' entire payrolls.
Some do, but then the Orioles have a bigger payroll than the Yankees as well.
Yeah, it didn't help them.
Guys, here we go.
All right.
They're taking their first steps. John Del Giorno.
Huh? Yeah, it looks like they have just begun to move out. Yes, we're seeing this live just as this parade begins to move out of Battery Park. The police cars have moved. Now the mounted police have moved. The motorcycle cops, those are already about halfway up Broadway. And we're seeing the color guard here just begin to march out of Battery Park. We can come back down now and you'll see the procession that's going to lead its way up Broadway. The first marching band now marching out of Battery Park. That will be followed by convertibles with various dignitaries, to be followed by the floats with the Yankee players on board. So this ticker tape parade, 1998 world champion New York Yankees. This parade is officially underway. Rob, Ross?
John, that should be the Brian McMahon Senators marching band you see lined up there, the color guard in front of them. They're probably going to start and stop and start and stop as they try to get this thing rolling, don't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. However, we got a good look up Broadway, almost up as far as City Hall now. Those snow plows have made their way up through the crowd and cleared a pretty good wide path here so that everyone can march their way up through this. So I think we're in good shape here. I think we are officially underway.
Officially underway, and not a moment too soon. Scotty, when you sit here and you look at this unfolding again, do you still find it amazing that twice in 3 years we're like having the time of our lives?
Yeah. They are, but the nucleus has been set with this team. The nucleus has been here for this team to be able to be so successful, and Steinbrenner is the man who's responsible for bringing this team together, and he's brought the other championships together in the 70s, 77, 78. He did it with the free agency. This time he's done it with more homegrown kind of players as well as the free agents. He's done a great job, and we were talking about the parade here, and we mentioned David Wells getting ready to do it. He said 2 years ago when this parade started, he was going to just sit back. Oh, and there's Darryl Strawberry as we speak. Darryl Strawberry, yes, indeed, has made the parade. His wife, Charisse, is with him, and he's leading things off. Isn't that great to see Darryl in the car?
You know, we saw a couple of trucks there, a couple of press trucks, and that'll be followed by a car with John Sterling and Michael Kay. And then, Scott, we wait for the Yankee trophy float. That'll be the first Yankee float which comes through. And I just can't imagine what this crowd is going to do when they see that.
They'll go wild. And I was going to mention David Wells, because he said that he just sat back and took it all in. He was smart about it. He took it all in '96.
There it is.
There they are.
And they're going to take it all in
The Kings
again as they
today.
start coming on. Hey, we are underway. Isn't that beautiful? The World Series championship trophy. 24 of those of the New York Yankees.
This includes the mayor, Joe Torre, Brian Cashman, coaches Hal Steinbrenner, Steve Swindle, and Hank Steinbrenner, among others. And we can look real close, as Scott is, at our monitors.
There's the mayor, the #1 Yankee fan, Rudolph Giuliani.
His lucky hat.
And I'm wondering if anybody from Cablevision is there, because Steinbrenner, there's been rumors that he may sell this team to Cablevision, and the rumors continue to grow even more now since the Yankees won the World Series, because the worth of this team, which is extravagant right now, probably would be the most expensive
There's
team.
the man, Mr. Steinbrenner. I saw another side of him when they won Game 4. He's awfully tough. He's awfully strong, but he like missed it up, and it made me just like him even more, Scotty.
He has softened, and he won't admit to that, maybe sometimes, but he has softened, and he enjoys this championship and the one 2 years ago more than he ever enjoyed the ones, I think, back in the 70s, in 77 and 78.
Donald Trump also on that double-decker bus there. Let's go right to Lara Spencer. The parade is just beginning to go past her. Lara?
It is absolutely the best thing I have ever experienced. I was here 2 years ago, and this might be bigger and better. The crowd is going out of control. The parade is coming right by me. I can almost touch it. I'm so excited. I can't control myself. As you saw Darryl Strawberry a couple of moments ago, the crowd went crazy. I went crazy. Look at this. The city is raining toilet paper. I love New York. Let's check up a little further on Broadway. Michelle Charlesworth is standing by, hopefully having as much fun. She's too busy.
Okay, she mentioned Darryl Strawberry. Thank you, Lara. She mentioned Darryl Strawberry. And, you know, I was reading that as soon as, once again, they won Game 4, Derek Jeter and a few of the guys got on the phone and called him, and they were all together to celebrate. They weren't in the same room, but they were connected. And that tells you this is an extraordinary team in terms of they seem to check the egos at the door.
Exactly.
It's all for one and one for all. And these are men who are playing this game that all adults and children can look up to.
Scott, was it when they won the pennant, when Joe Torre said, this one's for you, Darryl?
They've all said that as they've gone along, but Joe Torre called this team full of inner conceit. I thought that was interesting. He says they're full of inner conceit. And it's not that they're overconfident. He says they are just so driven to winning. And Strawberry got a chant after the World Series clincher in Game 4. They chanted two names. The first was Darryl Strawberry in the clubhouse after they won it, and then for Scott Brocious, the most valuable player.
You just saw there the All-City High School marching band as it passes by. Now we've got another picture here live of the parade route as they make their way up Broadway in the Canyon of Heroes.
Scott, you talk about Scott Brocious. I remember at the beginning of the final set of games, he said, you know, I don't consider myself a great player. It's just that I do a lot of things really well. Well, I have news for you, Mr. Brocious. In my humble opinion, you are among the best.
He is among the best this year, that's for sure. And, you know, he's a free agent coming up here, too. So that means that this season is over and Scott Brocious is up for grabs from anybody. He has already filed for free agency along with Bernie Williams already.
I've heard some say, though, that he may be the one that will stay with the Yankees because his spirit is here, maybe more so than Bernie.
Well, I don't know if there's anybody closer to the Yankees than Bernie Williams as far as spirit is concerned. This guy signed with the Yankees when he was 16 years old. He has an agent by the name of Scott Boras, who may have something to say about that. We're looking at the man right in the middle there is Al Trautwig, who has called the play-by-play for the Yankees on Madison Square Garden Network throughout the season, the last couple of years. There's Darren Holmes, one of the reserve pitchers. They all contribute. Joe Girardi, I think, is up there with sunglasses. See him? Joe Girardi, a special catcher, and Joe Torre said this is going to be a manager in the making right here. Joe Torre said that Girardi is just one of those people, and Jorge Posada, you can call him Jorge, you can call him George, but no one has to call him Posada. But Jorge, they work together, again, like you were talking about, Roz, just a team effort. They work together, whoever's out there pitching, Pettit pitches, then it's going to be Girardi behind the plate, or Cone. Wells pitches, it's going to be Posada. El Duque pitches, send anybody out there that you want. He just let him pitch.
That was the second Yankee flow to this parade. The starting pitchers, the catchers, the bullpen crew on board. Scotty, kind enough to point out all those faces to us. Let's go upstairs to John Del Giorno. He's in the newscopter with more for us. John?
Well, Rob, as if it wasn't hard enough in the first place to pick out who exactly is in these cars from 1,500 feet where we are, now with the ticker tape falling, forget about it. It has completely blurred out the street. Barely see down to the bottom. How much ticker tape and toilet paper and anything else that's white and can float has started pouring out the windows. This now stretches, the parade itself stretches about halfway up to City Hall, and there is still...
Unfortunately, we've added a little bit of our own snow to that report from John Del Giorno. We'll get that signal in a little clearer, but what pictures, Roz, as it continues to rain down.
And it won't be long before we see what is item number 29 on our fact sheet, which is the Yankee float. And believe me, if we think that we have seen cheering and happiness and pandemonium, when that float rolls into our screen...
Guess who's on that one? That'll be the infielders. The infielders.
You see Tino Martinez. Well, we just come back up front here, but in the back of this float, Tino Martinez is in the shades up back by the Yankee sign. Luis Sojo, I understand, is also back in there, and we have, here we come. See Tino back in the back right there. It's Scott Brocious over on the left there. Scott Brocious with the sunglasses over on the left, and who else do we have in there? But I don't know, but they're photogenic, aren't they?
Jeter should be in there somewhere, shouldn't he?
I see Bush in the middle of it, too. That speedster Bush, Homer Bush. Here's a guy who was with San Diego. He came over here in the Arabu deal, all right? He was the player to be named later. So he came over here and just won himself a world championship, that's all.
All right, now we're able to take it right back up to the front of the parade and the trophy float as it makes its way up Broadway.
All right, Scotty, you have to correct me because I'm a little lost here. The team is spread out over several floats. Scotty, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, so they will not all be on one. That's why we saw...
No, they won't, because you see the mayor back in this one right here. He's just in back of the gold shiny stuff. That's what I call that.
The gold shiny stuff. Okay.
You see the mayor back in there with the Yankee cap on.
And you have seen Scott Brocious.
Yes,
all right.
I saw Brocious along with the Tina Martinez float.
Lara wants to let us know that she has seen Derek Jeter. Apparently, he might be passing her right now. Lara?
As we speak, Derek Jeter, nothing sweeter. The float of infielders just went back. Scott Brocious got a rousing ovation as the float went by. Paul O'Neill was on it. People are absolutely going insane, and the players seem to be having just as much fun. They're reaching out. They're trying to touch people. It is such a special event. Unbelievable. Back to you guys in the studio. Had to share that.
Thank you. We're glad that you did.
The NYPD marching band will be somewhere behind that float that has the infielders on it. And then the next float that comes along, I believe, the next Yankee float we'll see, Roz, we'll have the outfielders and the trainers aboard. And look at the sight here.
We know that there are an awful lot of children in that crowd today. And I just wonder how many of them are fantasizing that one day they'll be good enough to be a part of something like this.
There's the mayor right now. He's the mayor on the float. We are the champs. We are the champions.
Scotty, did you ever play the game?
I did play the game, not much of it. Golf was my game, but I did play some baseball until I kept putting my foot in the bucket, though. That means that I was scared when they threw those fastballs high and tight.
I see.
So I used to just admire them from a distance. There's George Steinbrenner, the boss, with Donald Trump leading the way.
There's Michelle Charlesworth. She is standing right down there in the crowd. That's the trophy float right there. And let's just watch it happen.
Like hired hands there with that trophy case, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Believe me, those aren't players. Chris Chambliss. Chris Chambliss there in the shades in the bottom left right there going by. Chambliss saw some World Series championships, and he was one of the heroes. And also the general manager, the man just waving right there, is Brian Cashman.
Followed by the governor.
How about some heady stuff of 31 years old and becoming the Yankees general manager, and then a year later, you come and win a world championship.
Those shots at him out at Qualcomm Stadium. Thumbs up, you know, to Brocious.
Yep, there's the boss and Trump going by again.
These are the buses which are right behind the trophy float as they make their way up Broadway. We brought you further up Broadway to show you how the parade is developing. And you can see now that, well, that's not ticker tape, that's not confetti, that's just big hunks of paper, Ross.
That's because they're officially, as we know, there is no ticker tape anymore.
Hopefully
the machines are gone.
Hopefully they're not tossing donuts anymore either.
No, but whatever. If it'll fly, they're tossing it. Look at that.
Listen to the sound. It's incredible.
Like they're running to get a shot. See in the forefront there? They see one place and then they go run to get another good angle. It looks like it reminds me of a golf tournament when you see people just running from one position to another position to try to get a shot of it.
Louder.
Exactly. Yes, it's a lot louder. Well said.
The rules of conduct have been thrown out here.
You know how loud a marching band is, Scott. You've been to enough of these, and we can barely hear them over the din of the crowd.
Well, you know, you were talking about all the confetti. I mean, we've had transmissions hurt by rain and by snow, but I've never seen us break up a transmission because of confetti. But I think we just saw it the last time we saw John Del Giorno.
The first time. The trucks you see there that say sanitation on them, by the way, those aren't there to clean up. Those are holding reporters, members of the press. I don't know if that's tongue-in-cheek gesture from the mayor's office or not.
Oh, police commissioner.
Oh, yeah. Howard Safer. There he is.
Another fan.
I understand they're expecting, we had close to an estimated 2 million 2 years ago. 2 million people just watching this parade from the Canyon of Heroes leading up to City Hall. And they're estimating they're even going to have more than that this year, that it's going to be a bigger crowd this year.
Oh, they were talking 30 deep earlier, Scott, but it looks like there's more than 30 deep right there on both sides of the parade route.
Michelle Charlesworth, along the parade route, what can you share with us?
Oh, we're having a good time out here. You guys just saw who go by? Joe Torre's family, right?
Joe Torre's family. Joe Torre's the man. He'll live forever in New York. Joe Torre, the New York Yankees, everybody. I drove 2.5 hours from Philadelphia to come here today, and I'm living. 4:30 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning to drive here.
That's great.
3 hours in the
Who are you guys looking for today? Who do you want to see?
I want to see Derek Jeter. He's the man.
Derek
Jeter. Derek Jeter. He's the man.
How about you?
All about Jeter. It's all about Jeter, baby. I want to see the Yankees.
You guys realize last time they did this was 1950. Last time anybody swept was 1950, and it was the Yankees. I'm going to toss it back to you guys.
The Yankees are number one. The Yankees!
Hire those guys.
They are fired up.
Hire those guys.
They are fired up. They would have driven 5, 10 hours if they had to. It doesn't really matter. You know, we're also going to see coming up, as this parade continues to leave Battery Park, the Yankee grounds crew. And they've always brought so much spirit to the home games, haven't they, Scott?
With the YMCA?
Oh, yeah.
I saw more flashballs from cameras go off during that stretch when they come out to do the YMCA than I saw. Well, the opening pitch was maybe the most poignant as far as the flashballs. But then when the grounds crew came out for the YMCA, that's when all the flashballs go off as well.
And you know they'll be doing their thing when they come down here. Look at that.
How nice it must be to live along the Canyon of Heroes until all that confetti washes into your living room. John Del Giorno, is that your camera?
Is our camera, Roz. We're looking at the marching band that led this parade just now moving into City Hall Park. Now, you guys were talking about this crowd being 30 deep. Why don't we try a solid block in either direction? We've climbed up now to 2,000 feet, and we're directly overhead this parade, and we can see crowds down the side street, wall-to-wall people, a block on either side of it with ticker tape flowing. This ticker tape parade has not only taken over Broadway, it has taken over the entire neighborhood. The marching band that led the parade now moving into City Hall Park. The first floats now beginning to move into City Hall Park as well. This parade's not even half done, but it is quite a party down there. Rob, Russ?
John, thanks. That was, we're looking right now at the 4th Yankee float. That was Paul O'Neill that we just saw the picture of right up at the front.
Right.
Scott can probably
Stuart
pick out.
Gershon we see on that float, and there was a young man. Oh, Tim Raines waving right there.
Timmy.
And Bernie Williams. See Bernie Williams? This may be his last hurrah here as a New York Yankee, as he waves to the New York faithful. This we may have seen the last of Bernie baseball in pinstripes, because he is going to test the free agent market, and judging from the way Joe Torre was conducting his comments, it was, as we see Joe Girardi waving to the fans, it doesn't look real good for Bernie Williams coming back. I mean, his whole life has been with the Yankees as far as baseball is concerned, but now we have to, I think we just saw El Duque right there, didn't we?
Did we?
So, yeah.
If you see him again, let me know, because I missed him in that shot. It wasn't long
ago. In that float. And that's Tim Raines, I think, right there. Let's see if we... You know, Tim was wearing a leather coat earlier on. That is Tim.
Scott, as far as Bernie goes, is it just going to come down to money?
I don't know if it will or not. I think that as we look at Paul O'Neill there, and boy, what a story Paul O'Neill has been. He is... when he came from the Cincinnati Reds, and he came for Roberto Kelly, it was the best deal that Gene Michael ever made, I think, with the New York Yankees as general manager, because O'Neill has come here, and he was a career .265 hitter, and then he comes to the New York Yankees and does nothing but hit .300 and play a great right field and just give blood and guts all the time.
Of all the players on this team, Scott, just from me watching at home and once in a while at the park, he seems to take it most seriously when he's at the plate and he doesn't produce a hit and get on base. He,
yes, they have a water cooler graveyard in the Yankees tunnel for Paul O'Neill, and he takes it out on them. Well, that's a nice float, isn't it? With their rotating Yankee baseball.
This may be the reliever, Scott.
I understand Jeff Nelson is on this float as well. And Jeff Nelson, see Graham Lloyd without the hat. He's waving right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the pride of Australia. And Mariano Rivera.
All right.
There he is.
There he is.
Mariano.
Now, this is the closer, right?
This is the closer.
All right,
and this is the
closer.
one who had such a, boy, is he enjoying this. He had such a tough time last year, although he said, you know, I pitched a good pitch against Sandy Alomar against the Cleveland Indians back in the division series, but he gave up the home run that pushed helped to push the Yankees out of the playoffs last year. But he was bound and determined to come back again. So we see Jeff Nelson, there's Mariano Rivera, to come back again and prove himself to be the dominant closer. He did this year, and then all he did in the postseason was just shut everybody down. Didn't allow an earned run. I mean, he was just amazing in the postseason.
Dominance.
That is the final Yankee float. They've divided up the team. That float contains the relief pitchers and the support staff.
And Mike Stanton is beside him, just leaning down right there in the Yankees jacket. But Mariano Rivera, I mean, Scott Brocious was the most valuable player in that World Series. But my vote for most valuable player for the entire postseason would be that man right there, because Rivera got it done. He closed the door each and every time. He made it exciting, like Wetland did back in '96 at times, but when he needed to do it, like when he got rid of Jim Leyritz with the bases loaded in the final game, I mean, he was on it.
I heard that his wife couldn't even watch at that point, Scott, that she had turned her head and could not watch. And Marguerite Torrey said, oh, come on, you have to at least turn around and look, have a little faith in your husband.
You have
and
to.
Certainly he produced.
Can we talk just a moment about the Yankee logo, the most recognizable baseball logo in the world? And because the Yankees won the series, the people who are producing the paraphernalia, the gloves, the hats, everything with the Yankee logo on it, they are getting rich because the demand nationally as well as internationally supersedes any other winners in the last several years. So
yeah, you can go anywhere in the country and see
logo,
Yankee hats.
that's right, is big.
And find Yankee fans. Look at this team as they make their way up the Canyon of Heroes during the Yankee Parade.
Seems like the guys with the best spots on this float are the guys who don't play. And they may be great organizational men, but
you noticed
they don't play the game. I guess they're the posterity boys. They're getting the shots from the cameras and trying to take it all in here. But the players have secondary positions here.
Looks like a snowstorm there. Let's go to Sandra Bookman. She joins us live from alongside the parade route. Sandra?
Yes. Hey, guys. Right there by us is a float with Derek Jeter, Tito Martinez. You can hear the crowd going absolutely wild.
Derek Jeter.
You know, I think
Tito Martinez just went by.
They're so electric, it knocked out her wireless microphone there.
We are the broadcast interpreters.
Yes.
Guys, it is so loud down there. Her microphone may have been fine, but the cheering may have washed her voice
Especially
away.
when that float goes by.
You're right, Roz. When you see that logo,
oh, man.
you know.
And, you know, throughout the world, I was in the rainforest last year. There were little kids running around in the rainforest with Yankee jerseys on. And Mickey Mouse was there, too. It just goes to show you there are some logos that just, you know, everywhere you go.
Everywhere. Look at this guy. He's waiting.
There's a crow's nest, huh?
Bill Evans is on the phone, and hopefully he is in an enclosed area so that we can hear what he has to say. Billy.
Hey, Rod, I'm about as enclosed as the ocean.
Oh, dear.
We're here about to make the turn onto Broadway. I've been in hurricanes of less noise.
Hey, Bill.
It's really loud. The ticker tape, or I guess you could say everything that's streaming in the form of what would be ticker tape, heavily coming down onto the street. We're here with Freddie the Fan. Of course, Freddie the Fan is the gentleman that always has the big pan with the spoon that everyone loves to bang on at the Yankee game or wherever Freddie is appearing. So we're in this horse-drawn carriage that'll be making its way up Broadway in just a few minutes. But we've been by the players much of the last half hour, and they have really been excited, as you've seen the pictures as they come their way. up Broadway through the Canyon of Heroes. So we're about to make our turn onto Broadway, and it is loud, loud, loud. And there's lots more to this parade back here. Lots of music and many more floats. We're right by the Budweiser Clydesdale. So,
and rest assured, we are efforting to locate you in that crowd. But
we'll show you these guys.
You're not
the
Yankee boys there.
Where's the guy that says, I don't want to be the K anymore?
He's the K.
Where is he? I don't see him.
The second from the right.
Oh, okay.
He's the little guy. They used to hang. They would hang him down when whenever Hideki Rabu or anybody threw a strikeout. And he didn't want to be the K-man anymore. But I guess he doesn't mind today, does he?
Not today.
And the guy with the S, of course, taking over the duties for David Cohn to keep that arm rested, huh? In the commercial.
Yeah.
Oh,
they'll never win the spelling bee.
Right.
But they've won the hearts of
They
Yankees.
have.
They have.
Yes, they have. Lara Spencer, what do you have for us?
I've got the Yankee boys. I know you just saw them, but up close, they're even more attractive. They are so much fun. This parade, this is sort of kind of the end. I thought I had the best position. Now I wish I was up further with everybody else. But this is still a great spot to be in. We're up close. Ansky guys, the grounds crew just came by. We got a little YMCA, and that made the crowd go nuts. Nobody's letting up yet. Still a lot of paper coming down, and it may be getting close to the end, but the energy is still wonderful. I'm starting to calm down. I know I was hyperventilating before. I apologize. Back to you guys in the studio. Go Ansky!
Well, you know, Lara, some people say the best is still yet to come. There's a really fabulous ceremony that's planned for City Hall. So if you're a Tony Bennett fan, you know, have we got some more surprises for you? Are we going back to Sandra Bookman?
Let's go back to Sandra Bookman, see if we can bring her in. Sandra, last time we talked, the big float was going by.
We're having a great time, Rob. Listen, you can just about tell who's going by in the parade by just how loud the crowd is. Just a few minutes ago, the float with Derek Jeter and Tino Martinez went by, and these folks went absolutely wild. Just before that, Darryl Strawberry went by, and the crowd was absolutely out of control. I would hazard a guess that most of the people out here today are getting exactly what they paid for. Back to you in the studio.
And some of them paid that price by arriving last night to find a spot so that they could be in a prime area to watch them go by. What a sight.
What a sight indeed.
Derek Jeter has become a matinee item. I mean, he has become something else, and he is what most Yankees fans consider the once and future captain.
Now, didn't he started his baseball career in '96, right?
He's in line. This young man has so much for the Yankees that he is going to be the captain. The last captain the Yankees had was Don Mattingly, and they haven't had one since. And they have not named Derek Jeter the captain, but they do, I think, plan to make him the man to be the running line through these Yankees to come for the years to come.
Well, he took on new dimensions when I watched him at the plate. I had read, you know, that he strikes a nice profile, and it's very true. Without getting into details, it's a good gene pool, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the bottom line,
the
right?
bottom line, my dear.
Oh my, oh my. All right, let's go to Joe Torres. I think we all know where you're coming from. Joe Torres is out there too. Joe.
Hey, you guys, I can barely hear you, but let me just stick the microphone and show you the pictures. This is the second player boat coming by. And there go some of your World Championship Yankees. Take a listen. You don't need me to tell you what's going on. You got Tino Martinez, I presume, with his son there in the back. And, you know, Scotty and Rob, you were talking about it earlier, about the high payroll that this team has. But you talk to some of the more loyal and dedicated Yankee fans, and they will tell you and remind you that a lot of these players came up through the Yankee farm system. And, relatively speaking, they're not making all the money yet. Players like Ricky Leday, Shane Spencer, these guys are getting it done. Does Ricky Leday does anyone have a sweeter swing than that young kid right now?
Right.
Shane Spencer hit some home runs that I don't think have come down yet. So the future for the Yankees certainly looks good. And Scott, you can certainly talk about that a little more. I'm going to take in some more of the parade as the players continue to go by. We're a little further north on the parade route, so that was just the first or second Yankee player float that went by. As more come by, we'll let you know. We'll show you the reaction here to the fans. It's a shame. A lot of them really can't see what's going on. The crowd is so deep that they're trying to climb whatever's available to get a bird's eye view, but I think they wouldn't be anywhere else right now. So that's the way it stands at this point. Back to you in the studio.
Joe Torres, thanks a lot. I think Roz said it best, Scott, when she said they checked the egos at the door.
They did, and you just saw Bernie Williams on that float right there, and you think Bernie Williams, this is the first time he's hitting free agency. I mean, he's making over $8 million this past season from arbitration. And now he's going into free agency. Now it becomes a free open market. So he was the ultimate Yankee product who signed at age 16 and came in. It can go $10 to $12 million, and it goes beyond. And I imagine Bernie will be thinking about security.
Multi-year deals.
And the Yankee fans are only hoping that he believes there's a little pinstripe blood that's still churning there, that he may settle for a little lesser than what another team might give him so that he remains a Yankee.
Because last year, Huizenga blew up the Marlins right after they won.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, he bought a World Series team and then he got rid of it. I mean, so what he has to show for it is a trophy. That's
But you made a good point. They're not all making $8 million a year.
No.
The young bloods, the ones who are like,
Ricky Leday and
will they get a big boost? Will they get a big boost?
These players making, $250,000 a year, $300,000 a year. I mean, that's no small coin when we look at each other and say, how are we doing?
No, it's not. But considering what the market will bear,
they stand on the field next to a guy
right there.
7 or 8 million.
Chad Curtis is up against the wall there. Chad Curtis, he's just a Miss Utility man, and he's re-signed with the Yankees this year. They like Chad Curtis just for what he brings. He'll do anything for you. He is an overachiever. He plays a good left field. He's a great fielder. He had a couple of problems with the bat as the season wore on into the playoffs. And that's why we didn't see as much of Chad Curtis, but we did see him in the divisional series and also in the league championship series. But Chad Curtis is still there.
Yeah, they're all smiles, Scott. Tell us a bit about, don't they get some type of bonus for having won the World Championship?
Yes, over $300,000 this year. It was bumped up a little over $100,000, I think. So, back in the days of the Mantle and the Marises, they looked so forward to the World Series and winning the World Series because they made much more than they ever made during the year. And now it's basically, I guess you can really look at these guys and say they are playing for the trophy, because $300,000 to a man who makes $8 million is a little lesser than, let's say, doubling or tripling your salary in one.
Did they all get that $300,000?
Yes.
So even like a Leday, who's making like $250, $300, he doubled his salary just by being there.
He's loving life.
Yeah, he certainly is.
He's like a step. He's feeling like Mickey Mantle did back in the 60s, or just think of a lesser player back at that time. Making $7 grand.
Right.
Something that is priceless, however, gentlemen, the rings that they will wear.
That's all they talked about.
Yes, that's
After
all
the game, that's all they talked about. We've just talked about money for 15 minutes, and they never mentioned a dollar sign during this playoff series until we asked them about it. Understand? We have the relievers. There's Jeff Nelson in the back with the shades in the back. He's the tallest one there. Nelson had a great moment in this clinching Game 4 against San Diego, when they got the bases
a great time
loaded.
out here. So what do you think about the parade so far? Can you see anything?
Yes. Sandra's talking to somebody.
She is a fan.
Is right there.
What about you guys? Is it everything you expected?
Everything and more. Go Yankees! Yankees rule!
Better than 2 years ago?
Yankees rule.
I take it you guys have permission to be out of school and out of work,
Yes,
right?
my teacher let me off today, my teacher. I was a good boy, did all my homework.
All right. You heard it from here. All of these people got notes from their parents. They got permission to be out here today, right? Okay.
That looks like Ramiro Mendoza talking with Jeff Nelson, too. And Mendoza, he just came in whenever they wanted him, whether it be starter, whether it be spot relief, whether it be extended relief. Mendoza just came in and got the job done. He just did it time and again. I was talking about Nelson, though, against Greg Vaughn, and he needed a big play, and he struck him out. Bases loaded. Game 4. Boom. See ya. Gone.
Yep.
You're out of here.
They did the job. They've done the job. Each and every one of them have collectively come together and just thought about winning as a team. A bunch of individuals coming together to play a team game. and they did it better than anybody else did.
I apologize. I wasn't paying attention at the beginning of the season. It just as they began to rack up wins, you got my attention. But I'm told that these gentlemen refuse to take no for an answer. They never let losses bend their spirit, bend their will. Would you agree?
I would agree, and their biggest test, you know, they'll tell you that their biggest test was against Texas when they swept the division series, but they said that's when they had the most pressure, because they said the pressure is off once you get to the World Series. The pressure is getting to the World Series. And I would submit that when they were down 2-1 to the Indians, that's when I saw the most character. And El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, came out in Game 4 and just dominated the Cleveland Indians, and that, they will tell you, was also the turning point for them in that series. El Duque's Game 4, that turned things around and kept them on the path. But they'll tell you the division series was the toughest for them. Pressure-wise.
Great story. Hernandez reunited with his family from Cuba. He, of course, got out of Cuba and then joined the Yankees this year and goes all the way to the World Series.
Cunningham made the parade.
Exactly. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York.
Look at this seat. Wouldn't that be a great place to watch this from?
My gosh, I thought they were just sitting out on a ledge for a minute. I thought, get those people off of there, please.
Now, do you guys know horses? I'm told that there are some Clydesdales in this parade. Are those Clydesdales?
Trying to look down at their hoofs to see if they're prairie. I think that's close. I mean, yes, those are Clydesdales.
They are Clydesdales.
Yeah,
all right. And they pull beer trucks?
Yes, they do.
All right.
That thing right there.
Right. Joe Torres, you're on the parade route. What can you tell us?
It's a little quieter now because one of the floats just went by with Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill up front waving the broom, and obviously the crowd went nuts. Let us show you some of the fans that have gathered around here, and let me tell you what they said when we were talking to them earlier. We asked, is it any sweeter that the Yankees won the championship in a 4-game sweep? And we got some very knowledgeable answers in the form that people were telling us it just adds validity that this team was destined to win this year. 114 wins in the regular season, as you've heard by now. But by winning 4 in a row and not giving the Padres any chance whatsoever, all the fans, and most of them told us, that just goes to show you that it was going to happen. Really, the Padres had no chance. So by winning it in 4, yes, it does. In fact, make it taste a little bit better. That's it for now. Another float comes by. We'll show it to you. Back to you in the studio.
All right. Thank you, Joe. The only downfall of that was that they were out of town, Scott. But you were there with them, so.
Yes, we were with them when they got the sweep, and they said that they'd just rather get it done. They can bring the trophy home. It's very easy, and they can have the parade just like they're having today. You mentioned the 1927 Yankees, Murderers Row with Ruth and Gehrig and the like. They also swept. They are going to be really compared, as the Yansky boys come through here, they're going to be compared, I think, more with the 27 Yankees because they were such great teams, both of them, and the Yankees also swept in 27, and now the Yankees do in 1998. 1909 Pirates, who had a big percentage, a 717 percentage just above the Yankees. They needed 7 in the World Series. So there are little things that you look at, and the comparisons will go on and on. The debates will go on, and you just won't come up with an answer. But you certainly can enjoy the New York Yankees for their accomplishment this year.
Scott, is this going to eclipse the '96 club?
I don't think it will eclipse it. I think it will just extend what we could call a building dynasty here. It depends. We'll have to see how it plays out, to see how the Yankees continue and what their success will be as the years continue. You're talking to Roz about that horse, man.
There it is. There's my horse. I didn't want to cut you off, but he is in full Yankee regalia, and my eyes We see Bill Evans. There he is, the
There's
man
waving.
with the cell phone in his ear, yellow jacket, waving.
There he is.
I can see him anytime.
Down here.
Bill, are you
Nothing
there?
like it. It is so
Bill,
loud.
turn around.
Turn around. Paper coming out of here. And thousands. We're talking about 15, 16 rows deep on both sides here as we come onto Broadway. And it is absolutely stunning. Beautiful day. Boy, is the crowd so revved up for this parade. It is just a joyous scene. There's not one frown in the house. Everything absolutely gorgeous. We're right here, ready to fan. And as we make our way, we're going to keep going up through the canyon. So it is a great picturesque scene as we look downward. All the trees are filled with toilet paper. Joyous people looking down from all the buildings. It is just an unbelievable scene. It's something that can only be felt by someone who's actually gone through the parade and been a hero going through the Canyon of Heroes from Lindbergh on to the present.
Bill, can you hear me? Bill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How did you get on a float?
Well, I'm a big Yankee fan.
So am I. But, you know, I'm sitting here in the studio while you're soaking up the sunshine with the Kings.
Well, you know, Rod, I was a minor league baseball player. I always dreamed of being on a championship team, riding through the Canyon of Heroes on a World Series baseball club. And this is just, I guess, God's way of letting me get a chance to do that.
You did something right somewhere along the line, and he's going to be my new best friend if we ever do this again.
Definitely
I can't think of anything greater to do if you're an athlete or if you're a hero or you get a chance to be in a parade like this. This is unbelievable.
All right. You're unbelievable. Thank you, William.
You're quite welcome.
And we were looking for that horse, Ross, and there it is.
And I finally saw it. Now I can rest easy. I mean, you don't see that every day, gentlemen.
No, you certainly don't. Especially made by Modell's Sporting Goods.
Scotty, pardon my ignorance. I've seen it in all the papers. Murderer's Row. What does that refer to as far as the 27 Yankees are concerned? I mean, did they murder everybody at the plate?
Yes, that's basically what it was. That they had so many great hitters that they called the Murderer's Row, including Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. But, you know, it's interesting. They had Hall of Famers undeniably on that team. They've had Hall of Famers on the Oakland teams of the 70s and a number of Hall of Famers from the Cincinnati Reds as well, including Morgan, Bench, and Rose, and Reggie with the A's. But this is a team that we're still waiting to see who, if anyone, will be in the Hall of Fame. This is the team that has potential, but there's nobody right now that we can clear-cut say, hey, this guy's going to the Hall of Fame. Bernie Williams is got a start. Derek Jeter has a start. I mean, Bernie, all he did was win a batting title and a Gold Glove this year, another Gold Glove. Derek Jeter has missed everything for just a couple of years. I mean, he is headed for a Hall of Fame career, but nobody yet, including the Darryl Strawberries, the Doc Goodens, and you look at David Wells, no, not yet. I mean, David Cohn, he's getting there, but I don't think that he'll have the numbers either. You don't have a lot of Hall of Fame players here, or ones that, a couple that have potential, but together as a unit. That's why this team is so quintessential team.
The sum of the parts greater than
They
the
are
whole.
the sum of the parts. No players chosen by the fans as all-stars this year. Chosen by the managers, yes. Chosen as pitchers, yes. But no players, regular positions, chosen as all-stars. They're all good players. As a unit, they are better than anybody else. Individually, no. As a unit, yes.
That's why the free agency issue concerns a lot of fans.
Yes, it does.
I love these guys.
Yankee birds. I wonder if they have agents yet.
They will after this day. Believe me. Do you know what they're history is? Did they just like get together one day and say, hey?
They got together. I think they're part of the Adidas get-together with George Steinbrenner and the Yankees. That's another money deal, Roz.
Okay,
And,
okay. All right.
Yes.
In an answer to your question, they've had agents.
You know, George went up, that was another one of his fruitful fights with Major League Baseball, because he was the first man to actually get a major product endorsement, and he put Adidas up in the stadium. He put Adidas on a few other things. He was trying to get the Adidas more on the team, and he got a good piece of change for doing that. And baseball, and he had a fight about that subject.
Yeah,
but,
I remember that.
You can see George won again.
And we see the Adidas logo all over the place.
You do see it. Oh, it's a sign of the times. I mean, it happened in football, and now it's happening in baseball, and George trailblazes another path in the sport.
In case you just turned on your television set, you are watching live coverage here on ABC 7 of the Yankees being feted by this city for the fabulous job that they have done. Parade through the Canyon of Heroes, and they are heroes all. Lots of confetti, lots of smiles, lots of excitement. Headed for City Hall, where there will be a special and a very nice ceremony. That's still to come.
There's a lot on the schedule for that ceremony, Roz. The Radio City Rockettes will be there, and let's go to John Del Giorno aboard Newscopter 7. He's got something for us right now, though. John?
All right, Rob, I think this is the last float they just pulled out of battery.
Welcoming those of you watching us on ESPN News and ESPN2. You are watching our sister station, WABC Television's coverage of the New York Yankees World Championship Parade through the Canyon of Heroes in Manhattan, downtown New York City. The Yankees winning their 24th World Series championship the other night in San Diego. Just a few minutes from now, we are expecting the parade to conclude, and there will be a presentation ceremony on the steps of City Hall. You will see all of that live here on ESPN News and on The Deuce, once again, courtesy of our sister station in New York, WABC TV.
They'll go inside, receive the key to the city from the mayor, and then come outside for the rally that's going to happen a little later. So this looks like it's it. This is the finale. But as you can see coming out the windows here, we are not yet running short on ticker tape or toilet paper. Rob, Roz?
Thank you.
Does that mean Bill heads back to the barn with the rest of them?
He might have to.
He might. Who knows?
Maybe that's the price he paid, so he didn't answer.
I don't know. By the way, we also want you to know that you can watch us online for the first time. www.7online.com.
I saw in the distance there, the Fordham Ram, I think, made this parade.
The Fordham Ram?
We want to throw this program note in for you, though. If you tuned in to watch your favorite afternoon programs, we're going to be showing those to you, so you will not miss them. As you can watch the Yankees right now live as it happens, and you can watch All My Children in Port Charles. We'll broadcast those programs at 12:40 a.m. and 1:40 a.m. That'll be later on this evening, tomorrow morning. Turn on your VCR and watch it tomorrow.
I'll be up. Believe you me.
You can't live without your Port Charles.
All my children, all my children, every day, whether I need it or not.
Oh, boys.
Those are some of the best seats in the house.
They are indeed.
Look at the piles and piles.
Looks like snow.
It does.
When we were doing a round robin with our reporters, one of the fans said, Yankees rule, which is very true. But this day, their fans also are reigning supreme.
Oh, yeah, this is their chance to be a part of it. I mean, they're right there with the team, and they're even competing with each other, I think, to be fan of the year, half of these people.
Believe it or not, we're already talking about cleanup, Lara Spencer. It seems like we only just got started.
I know, and these guys are ready. How are you doing today?
All right, not bad. What a beautiful day for a parade.
A beautiful day for a little cleanup, too. As you've looked down the Canyon of Heroes, do you see you have your work cut out for you?
We have enough work until tonight here with all this paper. They estimated like 50 tons of paper that has been thrown out of the buildings.
How do you do it?
My trusty blower here and with all our manpower
The Yanks have their bats, you guys have your blowers.
That's
You're ready
right.
for...
The Yankees swept and so are we.
I love it. The Yankees swept. Now it's their turn to do a little sweeping. Roz and Rob, back to you.
Very well said.
New Yorkers.
It'll take a lot of leaf blowers to take care of 50 tons of paper, but that's what has been thrown down from the buildings. They're the Clydesdales once again. You're watching live coverage on ABC 7 of the New York Yankees parade as we pay tribute to these guys who just had such an amazing year.
Lara was with the sanitation workers. Just in case you're interested, there are 120 sanitation vehicles that will be necessary to clean up when this is over, and 650 in all sanitation workers out there ready. This is a big job. And
not a good idea, by the way, to drive down to Lower.
Here's your horse, Ross.
Today.
There he is again. Oh, hand me the camera. I like that horse. I really do.
Let's go to Michelle Charlesworth. She's been along the parade route throughout. Michelle?
We have been watching for all these players. So far, we have seen Jeter. We saw Bernie. Bernie had his sweater on. Sometimes it's hard to tell in their civilian clothes. I see Knobloch.
I'm waiting to see Brocious. I want Brocious.
He's MVP. He's going to be down there. Brocious, all excited. What do you want to see, love?
Duque.
He's already come by. It's hard to tell what they look like with their normal clothes on. How about you? Who did you want to see?
Tino.
Yeah? I haven't seen him yet. Yeah, he came. He must have been on the other side. Did I miss him? All right. Whoa. These guys are fans, and I can barely hear anything, so I'm going to send it back to you.
You have your own fan club there, Michelle. And look at this. At the same time, we're showing you the picture here. Look at this, Roz. As soon as the parade ends, these guys are right behind them with the blowers and the brooms.
Do you know that they say they will have this cleaned up? You know, here we are, we're still moving towards City Hall. They'll have it cleaned up in 5 hours.
5 hours. 50 tons of paper they're estimating. I think there's more than that, though, because they've been throwing paper since before it started.
I'm willing to give them an extra hour or 2.
I would. Certainly so.
My.
They're making their way up to City Hall.
We'll take a break during our live coverage of the Yankees World Championship Parade. You're watching ESPN News coverage. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Also, as we continue with our coverage live.
Welcome back to those of you watching on ESPN News and The Deuce. We take you live to New York for coverage of the Yankees World Championship Celebration Parade, courtesy of our sister station in New York, WABC TV.
That's catching up draft in the canyon. Lives all day long.
It seemed like there was more wind in '96. A lot of the confetti seemed to be going up.
And to be on the street, that's the way to go.
Next year, I want a mini cam and those stilts.
Okay.
And I will give you some reports, the likes of which you've never seen.
I hope the boss didn't hear that, or you'll be there. Toward the end of the parade that you're seeing right there. There were 5 different floats with the Yankee teams split up into different divisions of the club that are out in front of the floats that you're looking at right now. I'm told they've just arrived at City Hall, at least the beginning of the parade. Let's go to Mark and David. Mark.
In the distance, we've been able to see, Rob, some of the parade floats getting here. Just about all of them, I think, have gotten here so far. Can always tell by the screams we hear far off. And if you can judge any difference over the parade 2 years ago, the confetti did not engulf City Hall Park 2 years ago. It has this year. It's almost like the parade came right through.
Yeah, we've been hitting the head, and actually, at one point when we looked to the side, it did look like snow was coming down there over Broadway. Also want to point out they have a Jumbotron here, and for periodically they'll flip from station to station, and when you guys were on Channel 7, the crowd was hanging on your every word. Every word. You had them. You had them. And I want you to know that.
David Ush, love you.
So we think they're gathering. We think some of the people who are on the earlier floats, some of the players, are gathering in City Hall for a little while. They've already had a pre-program, and we're told right now the presentation of the key ceremony will start at 1. A little bit flexible on that, but people are gathered here, and they're kind of moving over to the side to see the other floats go by.
Yeah, people are starting to take their seats. Our masters of ceremony, John Sterling and Michael Kay from WABC Radio, the play-by-play voices of the Yankees, they've already taken their spots out here. Eddie Layton has taken his spot over there, yeah. So I don't think we're too far away.
And we've got our spot right here.
Best spots in the house.
Exactly. You guys will keep us on track through that big celebration that's going to go on at City Hall, and they're going to introduce the entire team and give them the key to the city. Thank you both.
But there's
Mark Stevens, David Ushery.
You know, Eddie Layton is an interesting story. He used to work for CBS, and when they bought the Yankees, he became the organist. He lives on a boat on the Hudson River.
Yes, he does.
Up in Terrytown.
I did a story on him.
An interesting character, Eddie Layton, and for all these years, just he's a bit of the old baseball. He's so recognizable when he comes out. You come out to Yankee Stadium, just hear that organ going. You know Eddie Layton's at the keyboards. He and Bob Shepard, the public address announcer, just part of the Yankee tradition.
Part of the whole spirit. Let's go to Joe Torres. He's up toward the end of the parade route.
Rob, how you doing? I get the impression that Charmin loves this parade. I should have bought some stock before the parade got underway. I think most of the players have gone by. We've got a couple of floats now behind us, a few of the marching bands going by. One of the marching bands I saw from Brick Township. You know where that is? Central New Jersey, Toms River. And you know what happened there earlier this year? How about that in the New York metropolitan area? Toms River wins the Little League World Series. And, of course, the New York Yankees win the Major League World Series. It's a great year for baseball here in New York. And if I can borrow a phrase from the Mets way back in '73, you gotta believe. And Scott, you might be aware of this because I read in the paper, I read in some of the background that I did checking in on the Yankees, that many of them are quite spiritual. They would start their day in a word of prayer, and what was the great thing, if there were some other guys on the team that actually didn't want to take part, there was no offense, nothing taken, but that's the way the guys got their day. Many of them started, and of course you could almost say that the World Series championship is, in a way, an answer to prayer. A pretty good one, I would say. Back to you in the studio.
You're exactly right, Joe. Darryl Strawberry is one of those people. Darryl Strawberry, Mike Stanton, just a couple, just to name a few of the many who are on this Yankee team who do start their day in a very spiritual sense, and they continue, and it didn't hurt.
Not at all.
Not a bit. And certainly with the skipper having Sister Marguerite always there alongside, and she was out in San Diego through all the final games of the World Series.
We're going to take a short break, but do not touch that dial because we are going to be right back with more excitement.
Amazing. We'll be right back.
For you.
I'd like to put a big ditto to what Roz Abrams said. Do not touch your dial. We're back with more of WABC's coverage of the Yankees World Championship Parade here on ESPN News and The Deuce. We hope you'll stay with us.
Property.
You are watching ESPN News, continuing coverage of the Yankees World Championship Parade up the Canyon of Heroes in Manhattan. On ESPN News and The Deuce, we take you back courtesy of our sister station, WABC TV.
Everybody involved make their way up Broadway in the Canyon of Heroes amid 50 tons of paper being dropped. Let's go straight to Sandra Bookman. She's alongside the parade route.
Hey, I would dare say a good time was had by all. Already the crowd has started to disperse. We are at Broadway and Liberty. They just handed this out as the end of the parade went by. No question, we are definitely the champs. This is one of these days that, say you're 10 years old, 30 years from now, you are going to remember it. No question, you're going to tell your kids, your grandkids about it. And I got to say, there were several parents in the crowd here. I got to give a blue ribbon to them. When we got here around 10 o'clock, they had their kids up on their shoulders. I'm not talking 2, 3-year-olds. I'm talking 10, 11, 12. They kept them there until a few minutes ago and dropped them off. I think they're going to remember the day they rode Dad's shoulders and saw the World Championship Yankees ride down Broadway, or as they call it, the Canyon of Heroes. We've had a great time. I'm sure everybody else did. Rob, back to you.
Sandra, John Del Giorno has a few memories of his own. John?
Well, Roz, one of the memories here that we're looking at would be the cleanup of this whole operation. We're looking down the bottom half of Broadway where this is cleared out and everyone is beginning to file home, where the street is literally covered from sidewalk to sidewalk in ticker tape. You can see now coming into the pictures, this ticker tape was actually blown upwards by the wind, and a lot of it now resting on the rooftops of local office buildings. The wind has blown this sideways. We can take a look at the side streets here, also completely covered. And you mentioned before, Rob, that it wasn't quite as windy. It is windy up here. We've had ticker tape come up as high as we are, up over the World Trade Center. It has actually blown out into the East River and landed on the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge. So a celebration for the city that is actually taking part in most of the city as this ticker tape blows off to the east. It's pretty amazing up here.
Everybody's got a piece of that.
Everybody does.
All right, thank you. John Del Giorno with a bird's eye view from Newscopter 7 for us. We're going to take a very quick break. It's not over. It ain't over till it's over, is it, Roz?
Right, honey.
No, we're headed to City Hall for a big celebration. You're watching Eyewitness News, ABC 7 coverage. Stay with us.
Once again, we thank WABC TV providing live pictures of the celebration parade in New York City. You're watching ESPN News and ESPN2. We will come back with the championship celebration in just a moment. We're back and you're watching ESPN News, continuing coverage of the Yankees World Championship celebration parade down the Canyon of Heroes in New York City. And we take a look and see the New York Yankees with this World Series championship now equal the Montreal Canadiens as the most decorated team in any of the four major sports. The Canadiens also having won 24 championships. They did win one Stanley Cup before the formation of the National Hockey League. In basketball, the Celtics are the all-time winningest team, having won 16 championships. The Lakers would be next with 11. In football, the Packers have won 14 titles, 11 of those in the old NFL, 3 of them since the merger in Super Bowl championships. The Toronto Maple Leafs would be next on this list with 13 championships, though as you see, it has been 31 years since last they won one. Again, you're watching coverage of the Yankees World Championship celebration parade on ESPN News and The Deuce. Most of our live pictures today, or all of them I should say, are coming courtesy of our sister station WABC TV in New York City. We'll be taking you back out there just a few moments from now. We are expecting the celebration to move up to City Hall, where the mayor will make a presentation. The Yankees will come up. They'll be introduced one at a time. Each of them will come up on stage. I'm sure several of them, including manager Joe Torre, will have a few words to say to the huge crowd gathered outside of City Hall, and they will receive a key to the city. The Yankees winning their 24th World Series championship, sweeping the San Diego Padres. It was the first time the Yankees have swept a World Series since back in 1950, their second World Championship in the last 3 years. We'll take a short time out here on the program. Once again, we'll come back with our continuing coverage of the Yankees World Championship celebration on ESPN News and The Deuce right after this. Welcome back to the newsroom. This is ESPN News. I'm Mike Greenberg. We'll be taking you back to New York shortly for the victory celebration in New York as they celebrate the Yankees' 24th World Championship. Again, we go back to that courtesy of our sister station WABC TV in New York in just a few moments. First, we bring you other news from the world of sports. And facing the Patriots was nothing short of a nightmare for Dan Marino a year ago. In 3 losses, including one in the playoffs, the Pats picked Marino off 6 times, returning 3 for scores, and sacked him 10 times. This led Jimmy Johnson to change his audible system, believing the Patriots were stealing Marino's calls. Hank Goldberg has the story of this showdown for the AFC East lead.
This Sunday's matchup presents an offensive catch-22 for the Dolphins. In their 4 wins, the running game has been paramount. They've rushed for over 100 yards in all 4 contests. But now they face a Patriot defense that's second in the AFC against the run. The same defense that held the Finns to 2 yards per carry in 3 games last year.
We're not going to just all of a sudden go away from the run. We had the highest percentage of anybody in the league last year as far as quickly going away from the run and starting to throw the ball in the second half when you're behind. You know, our percentage of throwing the football once we got behind was, close to 70%, and that's too high.
The defenses now have to play us straight up. In other words, they have to play us for a run or pass. In the past, a lot of times, we'd be back there with 4 wides and in gun, and, 99% of the time you're going to pass it.
The Patriots sacked Dan Marino 10 times last year, but they'll see a different look from the Dolphins' offense this time. They've done away with their 4 receiver sets and now employ 2 tight ends to protect the quarterback much of the time.
That's what was happening there with the 4 wides. He might complete the pass, and it might be a big play, or it might be an interception, but every play he was getting hit. And we wanted to eliminate that.
The Dolphins are in good shape health-wise, while up in New England, Willie McGinnis worked out lightly yesterday. He has a groin injury, the same type that he had last year, and when he pushed to try to come back too soon, he wound up missing half the season. He's not going to make the same mistake this year, and in fact, it's unlikely that he will play on Sunday. It's probably going to be up to him. I'm Hank Goldberg at the Dolphins camp in Miami.
From the worldwide leader in sports, this is ESPN News.
Yes, it is. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. I'm Mike Greenberg. Coming up, the hot stove heats up. Previews of pro and college football, and of course more from the Yankees World Championship celebration parade But we begin with other news from the world of baseball. After being turned down in one form or another by Felipe Alou and Tom Kelly, the Dodgers have finally found just the 5th manager in their 40 years in Los Angeles, hiring Davey Johnson to replace Glenn Hoffman, who will be offered a role on the team coaching staff. The 55-year-old Johnson will be introduced later today after agreeing to a multi-year contract. The Dodgers were 83-79, third place in the National League West last season. Johnson has managed the Mets, Reds, and Orioles, guiding each team to at least one division championship during his tenure. After a year filled with not answering the same question over and over again, Mo Vaughn will now get the chance to let his actions speak for him. He is as big a fish as there is in this year's free agent ocean, and he is now officially available to the highest bidder after he refuses Boston's club option for next season. Vaughn spent this season putting up MVP-type numbers, hitting .337 with 40 home runs and 115 RBIs. There's a lot of great talent and a whole lot of money out there as we take a look and see 8 of the potential 154 players filed for free agency yesterday. Among the notables, Jose Canseco hit a career-high 46 home runs for the Blue Jays. The Red Sox lefty Butch Henry spent just about the whole season on the 60-day DL. Brian Jordan enjoyed hitting behind Mark McGwire most of the year, career best in average and home runs. Todd Stottlemyre, a collective 14-13 for St. Louis and Texas. And Mike Timlin led the Mariners bullpen with 19 saves to go with a 2.95 ERA. The Yankees' greatness in 1998 can and should be measured by a lot more than just the numbers. But if it's numbers you want, how about this one? Their winning percentage, playoffs included, was .714. Not only historically high, but also historically significant to Yankee fans who remember how many home runs Babe Ruth hit. Another number significant to the Yankees, the total number of runs scored in the World Series. That's 39, the same number they had stitched into their caps. To the winners go the spoils. In New York, the spoils include a trip down the Canyon of Heroes where everybody loves a parade. Some shots we had earlier live here on ESPN News of the Yankee players soaking in the atmosphere at the Canyon of Heroes. That, of course, Mariano Rivera, the Panamanian closer, brilliant throughout this postseason, did not allow an earned run in the playoffs, nailing down 3 of the Yankees' 4 World Series wins. Certainly a candidate for MVP. That's Graham Lloyd in the overcoat you see there in the front, the lefty out of the bullpen. This is the float that had the Yankee bullpen upon it. There were 6 different floats carrying Yankee players. That's Jeff Nelson, big right-hander, also pitched well for them throughout most of this season. Had some injury problems, went at it a bit with George Steinbrenner during the year, but still a valuable member of a very deep, very solid, very good pitching staff. Our coverage of the Yankee celebration will continue in a few minutes here on ESPN News. We hope you'll stay with us for that. Meanwhile, safe to say no one enjoyed today's festivities more than Orlando Hernandez. For El Duque, it was more than a homecoming, it was a reunion. The pitcher and Cuban refugee was reunited with his family, whom he hadn't seen in nearly a year. Hernandez's mother, 2 daughters, and ex-wife arrived in George Steinbrenner's private jet, and the family was together early today. The 4 of them were granted permission by Cuba for a brief visit to the United States. Much of this was set up by John Cardinal O'Connor in New York, who spoke personally with Fidel Castro. The permission was given. George Steinbrenner was notified during Game 4 of the World Series, sent the private jet to bring the family, and so El Duque reunited with his family for, again, what is expected to be only a short visit, but certainly a wonderful day for him. We're back on ESPN News and The Deuce, and courtesy of our friends at WABC TV in New York, we're taking you back live to Manhattan, where the celebration is underway for the New York Yankees. Those are John Sterling and Michael Kay, the radio voices of the Yankees.
In this world, the mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani.
I would also like to introduce some of the elected officials that are gathered here on stage. First, the governor of the great state of New York, George Pataki.
The senator of New York, Alphonse D'Amato.
The Assembly Speaker, Sheldon Silver.
The City Council Speaker, Peter Vallone.
Councilman Tom Ognebeni.
The City Controller, Alan Hevesy.
The Public Advocate, Mark Green.
The State Controller, Carl McCall.
And here's a man who's going to send out a lot of truancy notices today, I have a feeling. The school chancellor, Rudy Crew.
And if you would, share your applause with the deputy mayors who are here in attendance today.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to join. You know the words. You also know the man that will play the song. Mr. Eddie Layton with New York, New York.
Now let's meet the New York Yankees. First of all, Joe Torre's coaching staff, a former big league outfielder, Jose Cardinal.
You all remember this man from one home run in 1976. Now he's teaching the Yankee hitters how to do just that. Their hitting coach, Chris Chambliss.
Former 20-game winner, now the bullpen coach, Tony Cloninger.
One of the most popular Yankees and the guy who waves home all those runs. Ladies and gentlemen, Willie Randolph.
Here is the pitching coach, a former 20-game winner and great star for the Yankees, Mel Stottlemyre.
And the man who sits next to Joe Torre, probably more than Ali Torre, Don Zimmer.
Now the field staff, and we'll try to move it along, but please give them some applause. They worked so hard all year long. Here's Mike Borzello.
Let's have a nice warm welcome for Dale Swain.
Fran Barazzoli.
And Charlie Wansowitz.
This fellow's been the head trainer of the Yankees for, I guess, more than 20 years. Gene Monahan.
And his capable assistant, Steve Donahue.
The strength and conditioning coach, Jeff Mangold.
And Rohan Baichu.
The equipment managers, Rob Kakuza.
And his brother, Lou Kakuza. Lou.
The director of media relations, Rick Cerrone.
And also, do you know this man from 1996? We are thrilled, though, that he's not in a hospital today. He's here to celebrate with us, Frank Torre.
Here's the traveling secretary who gets us around the country on time, Mr. David Zinn.
You know, we hear Hideki Irabu's words. Here's the guy who tells us what it means. George Rose, the Yankee interpreter.
And now, here are the players. The players who have put together the greatest season that any baseball team has had this century. First of all, one of the greatest players in the game today, hitting, fielding, base running, leadership, destined to be a Hall of Famer someday, Derek Jeter.
As long as there are Yankee fans, they will remember one swing from this gentleman. A 3-run home run in Game 1 kind of broke the backs of the San Diego Padres. Derek Jeter's shortstop, second base combination, the second baseman of the Yankees, Chuck Knobloch.
Yankees' top right-hand pitchers from the land of Japan, pitchers from the land of Japan, Hideki Arabu.
I have 3 short little letters for you. MVP, Scott Brocious.
Here's a VVP, a very valuable player off the bench all year long at any spot, Louis Soho.
Here's a gentleman that was behind the plate for David Wells' perfect game, behind the plate for the first 2 Yankee wins in the World Series, and he's coming into his own as a player, a fine catcher, a power hitter, a switch hitter, Jorge Posada.
One of the great left-hand hitters in the game today. Since becoming a Yankee, he has hit over 300 6 years in a row. The right fielder, Paul O'Neill.
Maybe this event needs a little bit of a spark plug. A guy's going to come in and make it happen. We have that for you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Homer Bush.
You know, Mike alluded a moment ago to Chuck Knobloch's 3-run home run, 7th inning, first game. Well, then the Yankees loaded the bases, and this fella hit a grand slam to win the game, Tino Martinez.
He was behind the plate for games 3 and 4, one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, a great team leader, a fine gentleman, Joe Girardi.
This next player's life story is the kind of story that Hollywood films, and believe me, they're going to it. He came over in a raft, escaping Cuba, saved the Yankees against Cleveland, won in the World Series, and yesterday was able to get his daughters out of Cuba. He's had the greatest year you can have. El Duque, Orlando Hernandez.
Here's the Yankee from down under, Graham Lloyd.
Another player that formed the best bench in baseball, always contributes every time he plays, outfielder Chad Curtis.
One of the best left-handed relievers in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Stanton.
A 19-year Major League veteran who has won 2 championships with the Yanks. Switch hitter, outfielder, The Rock, Tim Raines.
What a season this young man has had. 3-0 in the postseason, a perfect game, and he has grown into one of the most offendable pitchers in baseball. He's going to get his second key to the city, and boy, is that going to be dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Perfect, David Wells.
He's been one of the game's great pitchers for over a decade. A great competitor and a quintessential Manhattanite, even though he's from Kansas City. Here is David Cone.
Just picture, you haven't played much all year, you spent most of the season in Columbus, and you're in the starting lineup for the first game of the World Series. So your first time up, you're probably pretty nervous. Facing Kevin Brown, one of the best pitchers in baseball. So what does this guy do? Bases loaded double. Ricky Leday.
Here's a right-hand reliever the Yankees signed from Colorado in the offseason. Hurt most of the year, he finally got healthy and pitched just great in September, helping the Yankees break the record of most wins in a year. He'll be even better next year. Out of the bullpen, Darren Holmes.
In 1996, the picture that was emblazoned in New York fans' mind was John Wetland with his hand thrust up in the air, saying #1. Well, there's a new picture now. This man dropped down to his knees after saving Game 4 against the Padres. The Yankee closer, he saved 3 games in the series, Mariano Rivera.
This right-hand reliever has been with the Yankees 3 years, and they've won 2 championships, and he's been a big part of it. In that last game, he struck out the dangerous Greg Vaughn, doing what he does best, getting right-hand hitters out. Here is Jeff Nelson.
Signed as a free agent during last winter, hurt for most of the season, came back, got 100 at-bats in the regular season toward the end, but what a contributor in the postseason. The Yankee designated hitter, Charles Chili Davis.
Since this left-hander has been a Yankee, he's done nothing but win. Remember the 5th game against the Braves in Atlanta, 1-0. Well, how about a couple of days ago? The 4th and final game of the championship against San Diego, and another shutout. Here's Andy Pettitte.
Talk about taking New York by storm. He got back to his hometown city where he saw his first World Series game sitting in the upper deck. Well, when he finally started, he got a very big double in Game 3. You know him, 10 home runs in September, an amazing 3 grand slams. A new favorite, Shane Spencer.
One of the truly great all-around players in baseball. Like Dimash and Mantle before him, he patrols center field with grace and elegance. Hits from both sides of the plate. Here he is, Bernie Williams.
And finally, he came in relief of David Cone in Game 3, and he pitched absolutely beautifully. Pitched well in the ALCS as well. Let's have a nice warm welcome for Ramiro Mendoza.
One name that we've omitted, you know that his name and his number has been with all the Yankees as they've gone through the playoffs to win the World Championship. He was at the parade, but he's gone home because he's still gathering his strength. But he'll be back better than ever next year. Number 39, Darryl Strawberry.
Ladies and gentlemen, the quintessential New Yorker. He grew up in Brooklyn, and when he finally got the Yankee managerial job, he decided to win a lot of World Series. 2 in 3 years. The manager of the greatest team in baseball history, Joe Torre.
He just tried to slip in without getting noticed, but we're not going to allow that. He's owned the Yankees for 25 years. He has perpetuated the brilliance of the Yankees. The owner, George Steinbrenner.
And now everybody, I know there's a lot of you out there, put your hands together for a final salute to the 1998 World Champion New York Yankees.
This next star has been that for over 40 years in the music world, and he just wowed him at the World Series in Game 1. Another quintessential New Yorker from Queens. To begin the program, here is the one and only Tony Bennett.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesties, above thy fruited plain, America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. And now we introduce, to sing our national anthem, Mr. Max von Essen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the mayor of New York, Mr. Rudy Giuliani.
Welcome. Welcome. This is a beautiful day, and for as long as baseball is played, The 1998 New York Yankees will set the standard. Every team from now on that has a good season is going to be compared to this team, the 1998 Yankees. And I predict when the history of baseball is finally written, this will be the greatest team in the history of baseball. But they've won more than games, more than the 114 games in the regular season, more than the 125 games overall. What they have done is not show us just how to play baseball. They've showed us character. They've showed us dedication. They've showed us friendship. They've showed us commitment. And for that, we really are grateful to them, because they are as good men as they are baseball players, and boy, that's rare. I'd like to take just one moment to add my congratulations for the city of New York to an exceptional Yankee, to someone who has played in this city for the Mets and for the Yankees and has shown us over and over again what a great baseball player he is. But in the comeback that he made as a baseball player, and that in the comeback that he's now making in life, Darryl Strawberry has gained the respect and the love of all New Yorkers. Darryl, absolutely. We salute all of the Yankees. This team won as a team. It is impossible to single out any one ball player because each and every one of them has contributed to the 125 victories. Virtually each and every one of them can point back to at least a game or two or three in which they were the hero of the game. And the exciting thing about this team is it teaches everyone, from the littlest little league to the most important major league player, that playing for the team is more important than playing as an individual. And that's a lesson that can get you through life, not just through baseball. I want to, for the city of New York, for the great, great accomplishment that they've brought to us and the high standard, thank the Yankee organization. Thank the principal owner, George Steinbrenner, for giving us yet another championship. Thank you, George. To thank the man who now has to be considered one of the great Yankee managers, which means you're one of the great managers in baseball, a boy from Brooklyn, which is the best thing you can say about anybody, a great player, a great man, Joe Torre. Thank you for all New Yorkers. When other teams try to figure out how to put together their organization, they're going to study the way the Yankees were put together. And beyond George Steinbrenner, we have to thank Hal Steinbrenner and Steve Swindell, who are the general partners in the Yankees, Brian Cashman and Lon Trost. Brian Cashman, his first year as general manager, what a great team he has put together. And we're going to thank every single player. I really can't single out one, because Scott Brocious was the MVP in the World Series, but they all were MVPs. This is a team that really shows all of us how to play together. I am so proud of them, and I know I speak for every New Yorker that in the history of this city, you are going to go down as our greatest sports team, not only for the kind of players you are, but most importantly, for the good example you give to our children. For that, I really thank you, and God bless you. This is a great day, isn't it? I kept thinking when Tony Bennett was singing America the Beautiful that this has to be a beautiful day for Orlando El Duque Hernandez. And it makes you want to bring tears to your eyes because you understand the value of freedom. It is my honor to introduce the great governor of the state of New York, George Pataki.
Thank you, Rudy, and what a great day, isn't it? How about the parade? Did you enjoy the parade? I'll tell you, I was here 2 years ago, and it was a great parade. Today was even better. There were more people and more enthusiasm, and I think that speaks volumes about this team. You know, and a lot of the historians are saying, well, maybe this is one of the greatest teams of all time. Well, let me make 2 points. Rudy, Mayor, this is the greatest city in America. There's no question about that. And thank you for what you've done there. And this is the best baseball team ever to take the field in the history of Major League Baseball. And congratulations to all of you. You know, this has been a great year for baseball. Earlier in the year, people were captivated by Sammy Sosa up against Mark McGwire, and they both carried that out with such tremendous dignity that we salute them. But then at the end of the year, there was this astounding team, showing that a group of individuals could play together as no team has played together before. People coming out of nowhere like Shane Spencer and Ricky Leday, David Wells being perfect, David Cohn coming back. What a great team, 125 wins. It's never been done before. The only team that will ever do it again will be the Yankees next year or the year after that. You know, you're all Yankee fans, right? All right, we're giving you the opportunity in the first time of the history of this state where you can go out every day and show that you are proud of our World Championship team. They didn't just win the World Series, they swept the World Series. And in honor of that, we are putting out an official New York State license plate you can get, and this is what it's going to look like. It was a sweep. It was a sweep. And let me say that I want to present the first official Yankee championship license plates. I know the first person isn't here, but he's watching this back home, and he was here for the parade. And we all know that this is accurate. This is how we feel about him. And Darryl Strawberry is our 39. This is his plate. And you know, what a great team, but in the World Series, one guy came through in a way that I don't know that he expected. And I want to give him his official New York State license plate. Get up here, Scott Brocious. Here it is. Scott. MVP, no question about it, but they are the champs. They are a great team because not only has George Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman put together an outstanding team, but they have a leader that we are all proud of, who was here 2 years ago when he led them there the first time. He is our champ. They are the champs. Joe Torre's license plate, here it is. He deserves it. To all of you, the greatest team ever, a wonderful day. Let's come back and do it again next year. Congratulations, Yankees.
Thank you, Governor. And the governor told me that if you have those license plates, we cannot give you tickets. No parking tickets with those licenses. And now it's my great honor to present to the principal owner of the New York Yankees an official proclamation making today in New York City, and I'm sure for the rest of the year, New York Yankee Day. We all know that this team has a great leader. The character of this team comes from the leadership of the team. Not only its character as a baseball team, but its character as men of commitment and dedication and hard work. So here is our hero, our most valuable manager, Joe Torre. Hey, after 96, I didn't think it could get any better. But this is dynamite. You fans are the greatest in the world, believe me. First off, I want to thank George Steinbrenner for trusting me with his ball club, a very proud tradition over the years, the New York Yankees. And I really thank the day that Arthur Richmond stuck my name under his nose and said, George, this is the guy you want to have manage this ball club. It's wonderful. I want to thank my coaches. Let me tell you, I was having breakfast yesterday morning in San Diego before getting on the charter, and John Sherholtz, the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, came up to me and complimented my coaches on how well they have worked with the players, and I want to do that right now. Tony Cloninger, Jose Cardinal, Willie Randolph, Mel Stottlemyre, Don Zimmer, Chris Chambliss. Get up there. They are the best, and when you see me sitting between Mel and Zim, we do talk baseball every once in a while. Over the years, the New York Yankees have meant so much. I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn, never being a Yankee fan, but always respected what they had done. But the people who set the standards for us, Babe and Iron Horse, Joe D., Mickey, Elston, Yogi, Whitey, Reggie, and Thurman, our ball club here in 1998 lived up to those standards, and I'm very proud to tell you that. And when you look, and I know all the accent is going to go on the sweep and on the World Series. There was so much that went on getting us to the World Series. Even players that never appeared in a World Series game played such a big part in getting us there. But what's interesting about the series, normally, especially in a 4-game series, there's going to be a reference saying the home run, and you think of one player. We can say the home run, and you have your choice. You want Nabi, you want Tino, you want Brocious. You can have any one of them. And I tell you, I was very tense during the postseason, especially the two early series. And the players got me through it, believe me. In fact, I went in there before Game 4, and when I heard the loud music from my office, I said, wait a minute. I said, Boomer's not pitching today, because that's the only time I allow that. I don't want to talk badly about that kind of music. My wife likes it, but it's a little loud for me. So I went in there, and I was going to turn it down, and Boomer says, everybody likes it. We did it yesterday, and I turned and looked at Nellie. Nellie shook his head like this. I don't think they can hear anymore, but he shook his head like that. And I realized as I turned the volume back up that I have completely lost control of this game and this team to the Boomer, and I never thought that would happen. I want to thank all the families, and especially the wives and ladies of my players, because what they had to endure this whole year, you had to appreciate it by being around these players day in and day out to see how focused and how razor sharp they stayed, and that's no fun for the family life. I can tell you that right now. I know they say you don't take it home with you, but it's really tough just to leave it at the ballpark. And one other thing, you know they're going to question on where this ball club belongs in the history of baseball. I can only say one thing. In my opinion, 125 and 50. These guys are the best guys that have ever played the game. Thank you.
Well, we're not allowed to stay here for everyone to talk, but there are a few Yankees who are. The first one who's going to address you is a fellow whose career took a turn up this year, coming from Oakland to the Yankees, hitting 300, hitting 19 homers, driving in 98 runs, and making every play at third to become the series MVP. Here's Scott Brocious.
Hey, are we having fun yet or what? First of all, I just want to thank the city for this. This might come in handy. I'm double parked right around the corner, so. But I just want to say what a privilege it's been to be a part of this team this year. I just want to thank George, Brian, all the coaches, everybody who had the nerve to bring me over here after last year. And it's truly been a special year. I believe there's no greater place to play, and there's no greater fans to bring this championship home to. So thank you guys very much.
Our next speaker has become very, very chatty of late. Do you know that he started to do our radio pregame show after the Yankees were down 2-1 to the Indians? And the Yankees won. And they won again, and again, and again. They won 7 games in a row, and he refused to let go of the microphone. Well, Mr. O'Neill, you have it again. Here's Paul O'Neill.
This is just what I want, is a microphone. I don't know what to say. What else is new? Times I usually go to Zim when I have anything to say, and he's seen enough. So again, what a privilege to be part of this team, be part of this city. I tell you one thing, it's going to be a long winter when we get away from baseball. Are there any bleacher creatures out there? You could do me one favor before we go, because we won't hear it so long. Don't make me look like a fool. Now, if I'm going to sing, you're going to sing with me. First place, Yankees. Yeah, first place, Yankees. First place, Yankees. First, see you later.
Tony Bennett and Max von Essen are not worried at the present time. Well, here's the final speaker. He's undergone 2 separate arm operations and shoulder operations, aneurysm operation, to come back and win 20 games. He's such a perfect New Yorker because you never met a greater competitor. David Cohn.
I got to tell you, I didn't think New Yorkers could top 96. That was an incredible run, but you did it today. Thank you. Thank every one of you. Thanks for our day in the sun. You made us feel very, very special today. We worked hard all year. We came to play every day. I think everybody got their money's worth when you came to Yankee Stadium this year. To do this in New York, believe me, twice in the last 3 years, is some of the most incredible feelings, some of the most incredible memories. There's no better place to do it. There's no better place to share it. These guys behind me, I mean, it's more than just a baseball team. I think you saw how much we care about each other. I think you saw what happened when Darryl had his problems and how we pulled together. I think you saw what happened with Frank Torrey 2 years ago. I think you saw what happened with Andy Pettit's father recently. Incredible stories on the side, incredible baseball team. We really pulled together, And you guys, you fans, believe me, you helped us through it all. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what. We ain't pleased. Why don't we have Mr. Perfect get up and speak? David Wells.
All right. Thank you. Oh boy. I just want to thank, personally for myself, I want to thank Mr. Steinbrenner for putting me in this situation, bringing me over here to New York, a place that I grew up to love, even though I'd never been here, until my career started, and then it took off here in last year. And for him putting up with me, to be honest with you, because I think I've made his life a living hell for a while. But most of all, I just want to thank the fans, because they are unbelievable. And to be with a team that we've put out there all year long, day in and day out, and I know Joe gave a lot of credit to the coaches, but they do deserve a lot of credit, because, you know, without their out there every day throwing BP, with Mel helping us pitchers out when we're in a little bind, to me that's special, and you don't get that kind of treatment from anybody. So thank you. And for guys like Coney and I, ailing at time to time, you know, the trainers are very special, and they never get recognized as much as everybody else does. So, Gino, Steve, thank you. And to the great city of New York, I just got one last word. That's word up, dog.
Bernie, they're calling your name.
Thank you. Gotta tell you, you guys are the greatest. Thank you very much. I just want to have an opportunity to thank the Lord, because He has given me the opportunity to be here. I want to thank my teammates. I want to thank my wife, my family. There's been a lot of things happening this year for me personally, and for the team has been a great ride. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I got great memories here. This is all I know. I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I think I got a chance to stay. But you got to talk to this guy right here. Thank you.
Mayor Giuliani came up with a splendid idea. New York City has a great Latin population. Let's speak to them through El Duque.
I no speak English. Yo no hablo español. No hablo inglés, solo hablo español. Los que sepan español que le traduzcan a los que no lo pueden escuchar en español. Solo quiero decirle, mi hermano el año pasado dijo, I love you Miami, y este año yo digo, yo amo Nueva York.
Hernandez there saying that his brother Levon loves Miami and that he loves New York, and saying that he does not speak English.
So I'm going to try to do my best too. So anyway, Duque, he wanted to tell all you beautiful fans here in New York that he's so happy that he played for a great city like New York City. And then he said he's very proud to be playing today for the world champion New York Yankees. So, El Duque said, no más. Thank you very much.
Here's a guy who speaks both English and Spanish, Tino Martinez.
Thank you. I don't say much anyway in either language, so I like to just try to go out there and do my job. But since I have the opportunity on this great day, obviously myself, I'd like to thank George Steinbrenner also for bringing me aboard 3 years ago when I was with Seattle and taking a chance on me and giving me the chance to be a world champ 2 out of 3 years. So to me, New York is the greatest place in the world to play. You fans are the greatest. And one more thing, I gotta say one more thing. You know, it's been an up and down year for a lot of us. It's been a lot of fun. We won the world championship. But I just want to recognize all my teammates for doing a great job. And I also want to recognize Chuck Knobloch for battling all year and being a world champ that he is. Thank you.
Right here, there's a trophy that has to be presented. Here is the first-year general manager of the Yanks, who is going to take his place in years to come as one of the best GMs in baseball, Brian Cashman.
Thank you. I'd like to get a response back on this. I want to ask all you Yankee fans out there, if George Steinbrenner came to you and said, I want you to be general manager when you have players like this behind you, what would you say to him? Well, that's exactly what I did, and I'd like to thank him for granting me the opportunity. I'd also like to thank a few people that obviously have their fingerprints all over this ball club. Gene Michael deserves a lot of recognition, a lot of hard work, a Yankee forever. My assistant general manager, Kim Ang, and our major league administrator, Tom May. And I'd also like to thank some people who need to be recognized in Tampa, Florida, who could have been here today. I asked them, are you coming up? Those guys are Mark Newman, Gordon Blakely, Lynn Garrett, and Billy Connors. They're part of our crack baseball committee that help us out a great deal, and they're the reason we're here. Their response was, we have too much work to try to get back here in 1999. And that's why we're here, and that's why we're going to remain here, because of people like that. Thank you very much.
Brian, why don't you stand right here, and for the first time for the citizens of New York City, show them the 1998 World Championship Trophy. And now, it's been 2 in 3 years. We're going to bring out the 1996 World Championship Trophy. Now, we'd like to bring up 2 people that played a big role in putting this all together, so they could stand near each of these trophies, Steve Swindle and Hal Steinbrenner. Gentlemen, come up and take your rightful place. And do you know that this is an organization that if we were going to bring out every trophy, there'd be 24 of them and this whole stage would be filled. New York, your Yankees.
I would like to thank Steve and Hal and the entire Yankee organization. For the last 2 years, we've had this trophy on display at City Hall. And we've had, I believe, over 30,000 people come and see it. And now, we'll put this one next to it. It really is a remarkable gift of tremendous spirit and civic pride to the city of New York. And we get that gift from this tremendous Yankee organization from bottom to top, all over. Thank you very much, Steve, Hal, and the entire organization. One final. George Steinbrenner suggested something a few moments ago that we should do. Please, shh. We know that Joe DiMaggio is ill, and he's recovering. And 2 years ago, when we presented the trophy, Joe DiMaggio was with us. So I'd like us all to take a few moments and pray for Joe's recovery, quick and swift, and pray that next year, Joe Torre, when you come back with another championship, Joe DiMaggio will be with us again. Thank you very much.
Well, now, Mr. Mayor, if you'd step up here again, it's time to present the keys to the city. And we'll try to go through the list quickly. We begin with the players, and first of all, Derek Jeter.
Say a few words.
Derek, everybody here, no, don't argue. Everybody here wants you to speak. Speak.
I don't think there's a person in the world that has been more spoiled than I've been.
We're probably figuring out, we've just lost our transmission from New York City. That was Derek Jeter, one of the victorious New York Yankees during the celebration ceremonies there at City Hall. You've been watching those live here on ESPN News and on The Deuce, courtesy of our sister station, WABC TV in New York. The Yankees wrapping up their World Series sweep the other night in San Diego. We'll take a short time out. We'll come back. We'll try and reconnect with New York City in just a moment. You're watching on ESPN News and ESPN2. Coverage of the Yankees celebration. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the newsroom. I'm Mike Greenberg. Those of you joining us on ESPN2, we will try and take you back to New York if our transmission, courtesy of WABC, comes back. Meanwhile, we'll keep you up to date on the rest of the news of the day. And after being turned down in one form or other by Felipe Alou and Tom Kelly, the Dodgers have finally found just the 5th manager in their 40 years in Los Angeles, hiring Davey Johnson to replace Glenn Hoffman, who will be offered a role on the team coaching staff. The 55-year-old Johnson will be introduced later today after agreeing to a multi-year contract. The Dodgers were 83-79, finished in 3rd place in the National League West this past season. Johnson has managed the Mets, the Reds, and the Orioles, guiding each team to at least one division championship during his tenure. After a year filled with not answering the same question over and over again, Mo Vaughn will now get the chance to let his actions speak for him. He is as big a fish as there is in this year's free agent ocean, and he's officially available to the highest bidder after refusing Boston's club option for next season. Vaughn spent this season putting up MVP-type numbers, hitting .337 with 40 home runs and 115 RBIs. A lot of great talent and a whole lot of money out there to the highest bidder. 8 of a potential 154 players filed for free agency yesterday. Among the notables, Jose Canseco. He hit a career-high 46 home runs last year for the Blue Jays. Red Sox left-hander Butch Henry spent just about the whole year on the disabled list with a left knee injury. Brian Jordan enjoyed hitting behind Mark McGwire most of the year with career bests in batting average of .316 and home runs with 25. Todd Stottlemyre went a collective 14-13 with a .374 ERA for St. Louis and Texas, and Mike Timlin led the Mariners bullpen with 19 saves and 24 chances to go with a .295 ERA. And with that, we say goodbye to those of you watching on ESPN2. We send you off to the Toyota Atlantic Series. Those of you on ESPN News, stay with us. We're back after a short timeout.